1 week into the regular season, and your NOLA Gold are the #1 team in Major League Rugby. Week 2 brings another home game and another physical challenge. The Gold hosts the Glendale Raptors next on CSD. Live from Gold Stadium in New Orleans, Louisiana, Cox Sports Television is proud to present NOLA Gold Rugby. Today, the NOLA Gold play host to the Glendale Raptors. And welcome to Gold Stadium. I'm your host, Scott Alexander, and I'm along with Australian national team legend for many years. His name is Mark Stabina. And Mark, we were here last week for the Gold's opening win. It was 36-31 against a very tough Toronto Arrows team. How did they get it done?
It was a great win and a great opening game for the NOLA Gold. They scored 6 tries against quality opposition. Like you said, they played such an exciting brand of rugby. We were loving it up here. The home crowd was loving it. And that's the reason why they stand alone with 5 points at the top of this table.
We were all loving it, but no one loved it more than head coach Nate Osborne. Here he is talking about that win last week and the challenges he faces this week.
It was a great start to our season against what many predicted to be the champions of 2019, the Toronto Arrows. But we're moving onto this week, which has given us some different challenges with international call-ups, missing some players and a few injuries. We've had to rely heavily on our squad. This year we did a really good job at building a deep squad, so we feel really confident that we've got the right guys.
Hey, welcome back. I have Ian McNulty, the 3rd member of our crew. He is a local rugby legend, 2011 and 12 national champion. Hey, Ian, Coach just spoke of some challenges he has in this week's game. Explain that, please.
Well, America's rugby championships are going on right now, and that's going to have ripple effects across the league. MLR has a lot of players who have the honor of playing for their national teams, but that also means when that national team comes calling, they get called up from the pro team. So you're going to see teams contending with that all across the league.
Hey, look at this. This is a group of players. Both teams are going to have some of their stars out. Let's look at the Raptors first. That is Sean Davies, the scrum half. Look at him as kind of the quarterback and the fly half. That's running back and quarterback there. Will McGee. These are 2 guys that are very important for that Raptors team. They're going to be out as well as Hanko Hermeshays. By the way, the other side, we're missing a lot of guys here with the Gold. Eric Howard and Kyle Bailey are going to play for their home team of Canada. And Cam Dolan, the #8, is huge. Last week, Ignacio Dottie missed. And Tim Oppen, who was supposed to miss to play for the U.S. team, was injured with a broken limb last week. So both teams are going to be affected in this. We shall see how it turns out during the game. Hey, coming up next, though, we're going to have the starting lineups for both teams. We're going to get into those players that are missing and who is going to be playing in their place right here on Cox Sports Television. NOLA Gold Rugby on Cox Sports Television is being presented by Michelob Ultra Pure Gold, the official beer of the NOLA Gold. And by Boomtown, the official hotel and casino of the NOLA Gold. Back to Gold Stadium in New Orleans, Louisiana. It's game 2 for the NOLA Gold as they face the Glendale Raptors. Hey, let's look at the starting lineups, which are powered by NOLA LED. Hey, we mentioned some of the guys that are out. Number 2, the captain, Eric Howard's out, but he's got an ample replacement in Matthew Harmon, and also Kane Thompson moves from the 4 to the 8. And on the backside of it, this is where the Gold is so strong. Last week you had goals by Scott Gale. You also had a score by J.P. Eloff and Tristan Blewett. They're all back, and JoJo and Taylor Houghton, last week's captain, steps into the starting lineup.
And the Glendale Raptors are fired up after their 2-point loss to defending champion Seattle last week. Number 5, Luke White, the Aussie import. He's the captain today. Look at the back row of Munro and Dahl as well. And the backs, the equally impressive with a back 3 combination of winger John Ryberg and fullback Dylan Taikato Simpson, a.k.a. DTS.
And here's some of the reserves.
Always important, could be vital in this game. Both coaches going to have to make the call on when to start bringing in some of those fresh legs. That can be a real difference maker, as we saw last week.
We are moments away from kickoff here at Gold Stadium. The Glendale Raptors to get things underway. Round 2 here in New Orleans, Louisiana. I'm Mark Stabina. Joining me in the commentary booth is Scott Alexander and Ian McNulty. We had a lot of fun last week with NOLA's first win of the season, and they're looking to reproduce that form today as Glendale send it down to J.P. Eloff. Looks to run, little chip over the top, gives it some height, heads toward the sideline, and it's out on the full. Early mistake for NOLA.
Little jockeying for position there to start this thing out. Last week we saw a real explosive start from NOLA Gold. Not really lucky enough to get that kind of restart for game 2, but we are very fast. We have a line out here with the Raptors ball.
Take a step across, please. Right. Come on, boys, up and at him, Fellas, in and step before
We've got Chad Goff for the line-out throw for Glendale, 27 years of age. And that throw was not straight by Chad Goff, so some early nerves from the hooker for Glendale.
Yeah, actually we've seen an era on each side now that have sort of been 1 for 1, which, you know, these set pieces are so crucial, right, Mark? I mean, this is how you keep the ball, this is how you win the ball for your playmakers in the back, and from that first line out right into our first scrum of the match.
Some good images there of the front row packing down. Never understood why grown men would put themselves in this situation, being a backline player myself, but it is an art form, the scrum.
It's a forwards thing. It's hard to explain to the backs, that's for sure. But this is how we restart the game, of course. This is how we win possession of the ball. Usually the team that starts off with that ball gets the advantage, gets to keep it. But you never know. Scrappy scrum on defense can steal one away.
So Holden Youngert, number 9 for NOLA, poised, waiting for the referee's instructions to feed the scrum. And just as we saw last week, an incomplete scrum, a penalty, the front row of Glendale going straight down there, Ian.
Yep, that's right. So that's a nice pickup for the Gold. The scrum, of course, the referee is looking for absolutely perfect form and function. You know, it's a potentially dangerous setup, as you can see, 8 big men on each side coming together like that. So he's going to be really strict with the rules and the setup, and he's going to blow that whistle, as we've seen, for any infraction he doesn't like.
You make a really good point there, Ian. It is all about safety. And as you said, some big men combining, packing. That's a lot of force coming through from either side. So the penalties are in place to ensure player safety. As we see now, Matt Harmon with a successful line out. And that is Tristan Blewett, man of the match last week, coming in. He's moved from center to wing. NOLA looking strong already. Through the hands. Howden finds Eloff, but he's well met. Good support coming through. Little pick and drive from Elof, the captain today.
Step back for me.
And out to the right-hand side. Howden comes in. He's pushed away by Youngett. And now, using the width, Scott Gale finds one of his big forward runners. Placed back nicely. This is quick play from NOLA. Starting the game the same way they did against Toronto last week. Great patience. Accuracy of passing, a feature of their attack last week. Bidens takes it forward. Youngett digs in. It's a penalty.
You had the opportunity to roll out.
So you heard the referee, the number 6, Will Munro for Glendale, not rolling away. You might want to just explain that, Ian, what that penalty was for.
Yeah, that's right, Mark. It's a pretty common play. You see every time we have a tackle, there's a bit of a contest for the ball. Well, if the tackler does not roll away from the man he just tackled, that's a penalty. It goes the other way, though, of course. If you have the ball, you're being tackled. If you don't release the ball into contention, then that can be a penalty to the team that had the ball at the tackle. So, but now this sets up NOLA Gold for potentially the first points of the match here, going for a penalty kick. Of course, they're well within range. Nice time to pick up that penalty for them. Let's see if they can pull it off.
As you see, J.P. Elof, last week he got 9 points. He had a try and 2 conversions. And last year he was the 5th leading scorer in the Major League Rugby.
This kick for 3 points from a penalty early on. Nice way for NOLA Gold to get on the scoreboard and draw first blood here at Gold Stadium.
Not as dramatic as a try, of course, but these penalty kicks can be absolutely vital. Now, here's what set this up. You can see Gold going in with the ball, and yeah, the ref blew that up. He didn't like the way that the Raptors were coming in on that. So set up Gold very nicely for a fairly easy chip shot.
Blewett takes the restart. Sets his team up. Ferocious tackling coming in. That is slightly offside. Referee said get back. Got away with it there, Peter Dahl. He obliged, preventing a certain penalty against his team. Another potential, and it is a penalty. You saw Luke White there running offside, but it was actually side entry.
Seems severely offsides there, Mark. Little surprised to see that play there from a team at this level. Maybe it's that opening game nerves, you know, but just getting going in this game. Each team feeling each other out, trying to assert the pace of the game. Sometimes players can get a little carried away. We saw a little pushing and shoving at the end of that after the whistle.
Elof steps up.
Elof is lining up at 10. Gale's at 15 right now.
It's a huge kick from Elof, but it does not go out. So Glendale on the counter-attack. Ball goes to ground. It's picked up well. Now moving forward are the Raptors. Still just inside their half. Same way down the short side. Some fancy footwork from Dylan Taikato Simpson. They call him DTS, the DTS train. Ball bobbles out. 13, Mika Cruze does well to clean up, so still in possession are the Raptors. Just on their 40-meter line. Some great defensive pressure from NOLA. Oh, just taking his eye off the ball there. It's knocked on.
Execution, execution, execution. So far, we saw on that bit of play there, the Raptors, they bobbled it a few times. They were lucky to recover it each time and keep it in hand until just then when went off the fingers. That was called a knock, and we'll restart the game with a scrum.
So that was Robert Petzer, the number 10 for Glendale, fly half, 23 years of age, South African. You can see his disgust.
That's one he wants back for sure. That's a hard one to swallow. You want to keep that ball moving. You want to keep that distributing that to your mates, to your fellow backs there. See if you can make some moves. So far, Mark, these teams have seemed pretty evenly matched. They've both shown a little bit of jitters, perhaps. They've both shown some good tackling. It's early going here. NOLA Gold, of course, is on the board because of that penalty. So far, I think both teams are still trying to figure out what the pace of this game is going to be.
Youngett waits. Both front rows going straight to ground again. Referee.
Right, that's the second time we're too far away. Bring it up, please.
Sets. The referee would like both front rows to step in a little closer, potentially avoid that. Luke Rogan is the man in the middle today, center of your screen.
And it's those front rows, Mark, those players at the very front of the scrum that kind of drive this thing, right? It's how they come together is going to determine how the entire scrum goes.
Youngett gives the signal to his front row, feeds, goes down again. Referee says play on, and they're away. The Gold down this left-hand side. Howden beats off two, easy as you like. He'll waltz in over the try line for NOLA Gold's first try and the first try of the match.
The team captain from last year gets his first start of the season, and he comes in within the first 8 minutes, gets a try. Ian, tell us how he did it.
Phenomenal score there. That's just a beauty. It came off of the scrum, which of course the forwards love, right? One thing you see on the rugby pitch when they have to come together for this scrum, it concentrates all the biggest men on the pitch into these scrums. And what that does, it opens up space. You can see how the backs are using that, distributing that fast. But then Taylor Howden, he says, no, I'm not going to distribute it. I'm going to keep this one. I think I've got a good line here. He pulls it off. He deceives his defenders and outmuscles them at the very end to charge through and get that try.
It's that fake we've seen. Actually, if you watch the ads leading up, Taylor Howden does that beautiful fake, and that seems to be one of his signature moves.
Well, he's such a class player, experienced, played from childhood. He's from New Zealand, and as you said, captain last year. He's represented Australia. I wish. He represented the US Maccabee team, gold medalist in 2013 and 17, 7s and 15s. He can do it all, and it looks like he's put those extra pounds to good use, bumping off those players he had that he acquired over the holiday season.
I love the Aussie trying to get a New Zealander on his team. Nice work.
You know, fellas, that was a great demonstration of a try run because it had it all. It had the finesse of moving the ball, but then it had the decision-making to keep it. He saw an opportunity. He was able to shake his defenders, deceive them a little bit, and make them bite on him passing the ball out, and he used that gap, that space that was created between them to charge through. You can do that with speed, you can do that with agility, but you have to have the strength and the speed to finish it, to get past them, to not let them bring you down and get into the try zone. Well played.
Eloff steps up. Brilliant strike of the ball, and it is through and over to add the extras. NOLA extend their lead to 10 points to 0 over Glendale. Just under 10 minutes gone.
I think some people may be surprised by the way this game has started out, Mark. The Raptors certainly came in here, many considered to be the favorite, but right now it's been all Gold. It's been all the home team thanks to that try and that penalty.
And that's a long restart by the Raptors. Straight into the waiting arms of Eloff. Equally long kick from him and great chase as well. So he has brought his team up well into Glendale territory over the 40-meter line.
See how important it is, kicking for space, kicking for space. Where is that ball going to restart? That's where the kicker is so clutch in this game. To be able to put it where it's to the best advantage to your team. We saw it in an earlier phase, a kick from NOLA Gold that Glendale was able to use. They kept it in bounds with a dramatic little tip at the sideline. Not so in this one.
We've already had an early replacement. Harley Davidson leaves the field in favor of Nicholas Johnson. Big occasion for Nicholas. As Glendale attempt to bring it out of their own territory now. They've marched back nearly to their own 22. Ball's bobbling around. This is strong defense from NOLA. As Eloff sets sail yet again. Brilliant feed. Still going, puts it on the toe. Back in field, keeps it away from the sideline. That's experience from JP Eloff. Huge kick. Doesn't find touch. Instead, it finds Scott Gale. And now the counter-attack. Blewett, man of the match last week. Puts it ahead, finds some space. Does he? Yes, still. And he picks it up as well. Tristan Blewett. Oh, it's just spotted a little knock on. Come on, Mr. Rogan.
The Gold fans are saying tickety-tack on that one. They do not like it. There's people in the stands here pointing and booing, giving them a huzzah, because what you see there, that was a possibly brilliant play undone by a whistle. Looked to me like it might have gone backwards. I think that might have been that ball could have been kept in play, but the ref is right there. He's looking dead on it, and it's his call. Of course, one referee to oversee them all right there. 15 on 15 on the field. He has to be decisive in his calls.
You see the perfect reason they call him the Wild Man. He's all over the field. He plays 80 minutes just like that.
Carlo Denishan, number 9 for Glendale feeds. Comes out to the right-hand side, looks to run, but Taylor Howden is there in defence. Looks like he might have injured himself too. Keep an eye on number 13 for NOLA, the try scorer, as Glendale bring it the same way. Some decoy running, nice passing out from London, the vice captain today. And same way down the short side. Good strong running by Robert Petzer, the number 10, mixing up his game today. Well, that looked like it might have been forward. The ref was right there. It's play on. The Aussie, William Munro, one to beat. He's well tackled by the fullback in cover defence. Eloff gets to his feet, trying to force the penalty as well. Has he turned it over? No, it's still with Glendale. Same way, inside pass. Back to the captain, Luke White. Monstrous game last week for a monstrous man. And the 13 sharp feet of Mika Kruse. He's dropped it in the process, so a great attacking opportunity goes begging for Glendale.
Yeah, lucky break for NOLA, because the Raptors really looked like they were starting to get something moving there, coming off of that big break, moving the ball deep into NOLA Gold territory finally. They've been playing a lot of this game back really close to their own try line, sometimes behind their own 22. This will bring up a pretty substantial scrum here, and the crowd can feel it. They're starting to chant NOLA, NOLA, NOLA. Yeah, we can see that run right now. And you see how important it is, though, to never give up on a play. I mean, he looked like he had the field in front of him. NOLA Gold was able to come up in defense and make something good happen.
And what a great open field tackle by JP Eloff. He's not just a scorer, he's also a great defenseman as well.
Well, it's worth mentioning there, as you saw in that replay, the presence of mind and experience of William Munro to position his body in a way to squeeze it through his legs, preventing Eloff from pinching that ball. Eloff did everything he could, textbook tackle, textbook to his feet to steal, but Munro would not let him. So now NOLA send it into space. It's a long raking kick. A good kick chase as well across the field. And Johnson elects to run. Good pressurized pass, but Ryberg, the muss, they call him. Still going, Dahl right there on the spot, picks and goes. That's a penalty. So the tackler not releasing the tackled player there.
What we saw a little earlier in the game went the other way. Now NOLA Gold picks up that penalty. It's again a judgment call by the ref, but he's got a mental clock in his head when the tackle is made. He wants to see that tackler releasing immediately.
That's a missed kick from Glendale. Comes back to Gale, and he sends it long. Not interested to play in their own territory at the moment, NOLA. As they give now an attacking opportunity to the fullback. Had a great game last week. DTS to Ryberg. They combined so well last week as well. The only try scorers for Glendale against Seattle are fired up today, as Glendale are going to score a try of their own through William Munro, the import from Bronte Beach in Sydney. They are back.
Okay, Glendale is saying that's more like it. That's the game we wanted to play. That's what we showed up here to do. A nice display of combined skills, teamwork, support. Most importantly, support. And you can see where this run starts off. He's looking to his left and right, making sure he's got his support guys with him. He makes that break. Boom, right into the waiting arms of his support. Ball runner presents that ball quickly so that it can be distributed while the NOLA Gold defenders are looking to stop the play. The Raptors kept it moving. NOLA Gold never really got set on their defense. Now, of course, Raptors have a chance to put up 2 more with this conversion if it's good. And their try scorer put them in a pretty good position. This should be a pretty easy kick for them.
They're both running the scrum really low, hey?
Number 10, Robert Petzer, 23 years of age. Interesting fact, he and the number 9 for Glendale, Carlo Denishan, played together in the Western Province Academy in South Africa. So they already know each other's play intimately. Combining well in this early half. Important kick for Petzer. Strikes it well. through the posts. So he adds the extras and brings Glendale within 3 points now of the leaders of this match, NOLA Gold.
All right, Glendale on the board and happy to be there. That was all gold for the first 15 minutes of this game. You know, this is still early going, and both teams trying to assert who's going to keep the momentum, who's going to dictate the pace of this game. So far, I think we've seen a pretty evenly matched squads.
Elof sends it high, almost allows his support players to get to the ball first, but it's Glendale bringing it out from their own 22. Denician steps up, shaping for the box kick. Does so, sends it toward the sideline. He's inside his 22, so the ball can go out in the full, and what a catch! But Chad Goff couldn't quite do it in the field of play, so it will come back for a line out in favor of the Gold.
Let's take a look at that, Mark. You see some of the acrobatics that go into rugby here. He catches that really nicely, but when he goes to pitch it off, it doesn't find its mark. So we end up with a gold line-out.
Cat-like skills of Chad Goff for Glendale. NOLA wins the line-out. Strong feature of their game. Dominated Toronto last week at set piece as they bring it the same way. Gale to Howden. Out to Blewett. Blewett steps in. Fancy feet yet again. Still going Blewett. Wonderful play from the South African. And now Thompson takes it forward. Met with a big tackle. Maintaining possession. Oh, flat pass. Don't think Wagaspak was expecting that one.
And that's one of the keys to this game. Wagaspak is a big replacement. He's only 20 years old. First big-time game in his career. He played at UL Lafayette and for collegiately, but he's a local guy trying to get his first game under his wings. And you saw the jitters right there.
Well, I think we're also seeing some of what we discussed at the beginning of the broadcast, Scott, with so many of the players being called up for America's Rugby Championships. A lot of the internationals been called up, and the bench is having to show its depth on this game early on. Guys who may have been replacements in a different game.
Speaking of replacements, obviously Kane Thompson played that role last week. Kane moved to the 8-man, and that's where Cam Dolan played. By the way, Cam Dolan just scored today for USA Rugby. They won 71-8 over Chile. Hey, we're going to take a break right now. We'll be right back with more NOLA Gold Rugby right here on Cox Sports Television.
And welcome back to Gold Stadium. It's NOLA Gold, top of the table at the moment in this Major League Rugby Championship. They take on last year's runners-up, the Glendale Raptors. Players are all hydrated, ready to scrum down and resume play. I'm Mark Stabina. Joining me, Scott Alexander and Ian McNulty in this very cozy commentating booth.
I just like the way you say Alexander.
Isn't that right?
It is.
It's all about the inflection.
Yes.
So, what a beautiful flick pass out the back from DTS. And keeping it in play is the replacement, Nicholas Johnson, but it's landed in NOLA Gold hands. Youngett toes it forward. And DTS, Dylan Taikato Simpson, gets back. Look at those fancy feet. Yet again, he beats two defenders, including the experienced Taylor Howden. Not the best kick from him. Straight into the arms of Kane Thompson, who then finds Gale. eventually Eloff brings it all the way up to the 40-metre line of Glendale. So in Raptors territory, yet again, a NOLA, clever kick through. Ryberg goes back, struggles to bring it in, and that may be a NOLA Gold lineout if he got a touch. The touch judge says yes, so what a gain for NOLA.
Big, big play there, and you see, you know, those that are watching, the ball seems to be getting kicked away. It's strategic, you know, each side is looking for that advantage. Every time that ball goes up in the air, where's it going to land? How's it going to bounce? In that case, it bounced very well indeed for NOLA Gold.
Hey, Mark, what's the advantage of a line out this close to your own try zone about to score?
Well, we might even see now, they might elect to bring it down, keep it off the ground, Scott, and drive it all the way. This is about the limit that you could probably do a driving maul. See if they have elected to do that. So the drive is brought to ground. Referee has his arm out, giving advantage. Possibly brought down. Pick and drive now from the number 2, Matthew Harmon. 1 metre from the line, NOLA. He'll come back. Sure if you heard the referee there, but number 7 for Glendale collapsed that maul. Just as you predicted. Or you asked the question, Scott, what is the advantage? They tried to take advantage and exploit being so close and driving it, and that's where Glendale brought it down. That is illegal to do so, and they find themselves with a penalty. And they may just go for the same thing.
That close to the try zone, yeah, it's very tempting. You want to keep that ball with your big forwards and see if they can't just drive it across the line and drop it and score that try.
Guys, you need a ball.
Didn't work out for them, but Gold is going to get a restart here. Very, very deep, dangerous position for the Raptors. Backed up right against their door.
Harmon to the newcomer, Billy Stewart. And they're over the try line. Look at that, brilliant drive. Execution perfect on that occasion. Glendale could do nothing about it, and the NOLA Gold have extended their lead 15 points to 7 with a conversion to come.
If at first you don't succeed, try again, and that's exactly what Gold did. That first maul that they attempted didn't work out, but watch this. Right from the line out, they keep it. All the big men come in. They just start bullying it through. Glendale cannot get in defense fast enough to stop their momentum. Boom, the try is scored. It does set up a fairly challenging conversion attempt here for Gold, however. Of course, the kick has to come from wherever that ball was touched down in rugby, hence the meaning of the word touchdown, of course. But if he can pull this off, it'll add a nice little padding to the NOLA Gold lead.
You see Holden Young on your screen, but it was number 7, Zach Striffler, who was the man to dot that down. Took the honours in the end after a brilliantly executed driving maul from the line out for NOLA. It's so good to see this team seems to be well balanced, an all-round team. Fantastic backline, sharp skills, but they're provided with some quality ball from a strong forward pack as well, as Eloff steps up, and he is just scraped the goal post on the right-hand side. So the score remains 15 points to 7 to the home team over last year's runners-up Glendale Raptors.
And that try that we just saw, that was a forward's delight, Mark. That was just, you keep that ball in hand. You don't make any opportunity for it to get loose or to go over to Glendale again that close to them. And the forwards just bowled it through. That was wonderful.
And I'm glad you said that, because last week it was a backs game. 5 of the backs scoring. Only Eric Howard getting a forward score last week. So now you're seeing the versatility you talked about just now with the balance.
Absolutely, Scott.
On the restart here, the Raptors have to be saying, wait a minute, wait a minute. We were 7-10 there a moment ago. This is, they built an 8-point lead on us here. We've got to make something happen here. Glendale talking to each other now. They have the ball. They have a good opportunity to resume their attack in NOLA Gold territory.
Chad Goff gets it in. Goes to the back. It's bobbled around. So a sloppy line out for Glendale, but they come up with the ball. That's well played by the number 9, Denishan. Ball is thrown the same way. You see the numbers just folding around the corner. They have a couple of numbers back out to this left-hand side. Will they use them? No, they'll go the same way. London finds his center partner. That's the second time that Mika Kruse has put the ball down.
You know, while you're watching this game, you see, you know, there's the temptation just to follow the ball, but you have to look at where all the other players are on the pitch, where they're set up to take that ball. That one was looking to be a pretty solid Raptors attack, but reduced to a scrum again. The 5th knock-on for Glendale so far. A lot of frustration for backs anytime that happens, because you want that ball. You can see the destination, you can see the try zone, but if it doesn't come to you, no good. Goes back to your opponent.
Nika Cruze possibly just showing some of his inexperience. He's only 20 years of age. Now he will need to bounce back, put those mistakes at the back of his mind. As Nola, through Gale, I should say, sends it long into space. It might go too long. It's into the try zone. So Dylan Taikato-Simpson waits, allows for the NOLA players to expend some more energy, and dots it down, which means it'll come back for a 22-meter restart. And it's a quickly taken. Raptors just catch the defense napping. Great play by the Raptors, especially Denishan. And that's another drop. Very uncharacteristic, unforced error by the Raptors.
Very, very, very frustrating for Glendale right now, because you've seen these opportunities and so many of them undone by knocks. That's the 6th one for them so far. Meanwhile, NOLA has not lost a set piece. Of course, the scrums and the lineouts, they've been very good at keeping those. Those are crucial plays, because any one of those is an opportunity to change possession of the ball. So far, NOLA Gold has been perfect with them.
We saw the same thing from NOLA Gold versus Toronto last week. What the difference was eventually at the end of the game, but particularly the first half, they dominated Toronto because they kept ball in hand. Toronto, on the other hand, played similar to Glendale here, with little unforced errors allowing NOLA to come back. Scrum down, out to the left-hand side. Gale flicks it back inside to Howden, who again says sit down to his opposition, and it's a penalty.
You'll see where they get this opportunity from. Gold's talking about it. It'll likely be a penalty kick. The ball comes out, moving nicely through hands there.
Very carefully in this area, or you might lose someone.
And yeah, the ref did not like the way the Raptors came in there. They're going to poach it, trying to poach it, but the ref blew it up. So it gives Gold an opportunity to have 3 more if they can pull off this penalty kick.
Hey, Ian, for the newer viewers to rugby, why did they get the penalty kick for this? I mean, you kind of explained it, but why exactly do they get a kick? I mean, how does that work?
Well, if the ref blows up the game and you're deep enough in territory and you think you can take a shot at the goal, you think your kicker can make it in his range, you do. You have the opportunity to take that shot anywhere you want on the field. But of course, if you're way over by the 50, you're not going to do that. You're going to kick to touch and try to get your team better position. But in this case, you're lined up right by the uprights, give it a shot.
And this is his 2nd kick of the game. He got one in the first 5 minutes to give the Gold a 3-0 lead.
And it's successful, so another 3 points to JP Eloff and his NOLA team. 18 points to 7 now. The Gold lead over the Raptors.
As we said earlier, penalty kicks not nearly as sexy and thrilling as a try, but at the end of the game, it can be the difference. We've seen games that are all penalty tries and penalty kicks. Not so in this game, but of course, it can make a huge difference by the end.
Certainly can, Ian. 2 penalty kicks is worth more than 1 try. It's a great way to build the score early, and Blewett takes the kick at full pace, just can't quite keep his feet in. He steps out, so that could be a costly error by Blewett, because now Glendale have prime field position with the line-out throw. Chad Goff goes to the front. Munro, the try scorer, brings it down. Denishan, strong running from Muss, the Muss. That was Ryberg, gets the offload away as well. Same way for the Raptors. Petzer takes on the defense. Coming around the corner is Munro. He does the same, and he's met by a crunching tackle. They keep the ball. The captain, White, charges forward. Need to take that big man low, and they do. Coming back the other way now are the Raptors. Keeping it tight. That's Daly. with some support. Back the other way now. Here comes Petzer. Shapes up, takes on the defense yet again. Well tackled by Bidens. Coming in, looks like it was knocked on. It's actually a penalty now to NOLA. So squandering another chance, the Raptors, and they are under pressure. NOLA holding firm.
This is why you see why stout defense is so important. You're right in your own territory. You're just meters away from your own try zone. You're playing with your back to the wall, but phase after phase after phase, all this grinding rugby, a penalty is bound to happen eventually, it seems. And in that case, it came up well for NOLA.
Eloff attempts to clear.
Eloff once again finds touch. It will be
finds some much-needed territory. Still within their 40-meter zone, so not out of jail just yet. The Gold.
Official grocer of NOLA Gold.
And whenever that happens, Mark, you know, your team breathes a sigh of relief and also catches its breath a little bit. Having to defend like that against phase after phase is brutally exhausting.
Yet another line-out win for Gold, and they drive forward. It's well executed up over the 40-meter line. Still going, the Gold. What an amazing effort from that forward pack as they bring it closer in field. Glendale doing what they can, and they break away finally. Could be a penalty. He's isolated Ben Tarr, the vice-captain, and it has been turned over. So Glendale now with possession, almost up to the halfway line. Numbers out to the left. Penalty.
There's a penalty.
So that was for a high tackle, I believe.
You can see this NOLA Gold into defense there. Comes pretty high on the ball carrier, up around his neck. Ref's going to blow that up anytime he can see it. That's just a safety call right there. Ref does not want to see anybody get tackled around the head like that.
And Ian, would it be fair to say, especially after calling last week's game, we haven't seen too many high tackles or penalties for high tackles. They've really cracked down on them in the last few seasons, and it seems to me that the players are really taking that on board.
Well, as a player, that's a mess up. If you make a tackle like that, you're not playing your best game. That's a desperation tackle. That's an exhaustion tackle, perhaps. Hey, if it breaks up an offense, maybe it's worth picking up the penalty. But in that case, I think you can see that the Raptors have a really nice advantage off of it.
Yes, and it would force coaches and assistant coaches and players to practice low tackling more at training to not just make it safer for the players and safer for the game, but also avoid giving away those penalties.
Well, and that's a more effective tackle always, right? I mean, if you're charging against one of these big, strong forwards, the only way you're really going to bring them down is to get low on them. It's, of course, one of those things about rugby. All kinds of body types out here, and they're constantly being called upon to come into direct contact with each other.
So the Raptors now prime real estate on the 22-meter line of NOLA. Missed pass to London, another missed pass. Well taken by DTS, nearly through, last-ditch effort. Here come the Raptors. Ryberg brings it in. He's going to be hard to put down, and they won't. He'll dot down for the Raptors' second try of the match, way out wide.
Great gutsy try there from the Raptors. Boy, they wanted that one bad. They were not going to give that one up after coming down here so many times so far this game and seeing their attacks undone by poorly handled balls. That one was handled brilliantly. Through the hands to the last man on the pitch. It comes down to a duel. Can the NOLA Gold stop him? Can they get him out of bounds? They cannot touch him. And he soars into the try zone with that leap, of course, to ensure the try is good. However, this does leave their kicker with a very, very challenging shot. We often see in football, American football, the ball come in at the edge there, and it doesn't really matter. Anytime you can get it over in football is good. But for rugby, it comes in the edge, you're setting up your kicker with an extremely narrow target to thread with that ball.
Robert Petzer, South African. He's had some pro rugby experience. Played for the Southern Kings versus Munster in that Celtic League. You see that wonderful angle from the cameraman. He's waved it wide. It was a difficult kick. If you just look at this try. Well executed backline try. This is what did it for Glendale. Putting pressure on that defense with flat passes, they really took it to the line, and you see the speed of ball there. The white jerseys finding it really hard to get back into their defensive position, and that is a trademark Dave Williams try there. Dave Williams, of course, coach of the Raptors. Spent quite a few years with the US national team, and that had his brand written all over that try.
Back to that try again for a moment, Mark. You saw the speed with which Glendale got that out to the edge, got that out to their speedy players, while most of the NOLA Gold, all the forwards were still practically bound up in that scrum. It opened up a lot of territory for the Raptors to work with.
So a close game, only 6 points in it. Glendale a converted try away from taking the lead for the first time, and we saw this with NOLA last game against Toronto. Never gave up the lead, did they? They got out to a great start and then maintained their lead despite Toronto hitting back. This could be a carbon copy this week. Glendale now with their tails up. Big run from Chad Goff. Equally big tackle. Bring him down on the 40-meter line of NOLA. Luke White, the captain, proving hard to put down. He's put down eventually. 35 meters out, the ball comes back out to Cruze. Flat pass out to the try scorer Ryberg, can't quite bring it in. I think his chest muscles got in the way. And now NOLA look to clear. Brings it back in, but it will come back, no advantage for the knock-on, so it will come back to a scrum after the knock-on from John Muscles Ryberg.
Pesky, pesky pectorals. But ball handling's what it's all about, right? You can be as big and strong as you want. You have to be able to catch that ball, to retain it, to pass it cleanly to your mates running in support.
Well, Cruze really fired that ball out. It was a flat pass, and Ryberg was flying onto it, and he actually took a line into the pass, which will make that pass even more forceful coming into the body. So he definitely had his work cut out for him to take that pass on the fly. On this occasion, unable to do so, so Holden Youngett will feed for NOLA. 30 meters out. Scrum screwing, still going. Referee will reset that scrum.
That was the 6th knock-on that we saw from Glendale so far in the game to set up this scrum. That's definitely something they're probably going to have a conversation about when they run back into the locker room at halftime.
As you would have to say, again, uncharacteristic.
And you have to wonder what the scoreboard would be like without them, or without half of them.
How much of that is the defensive pressure that NOLA are applying to this Glendale team, and how much is unforced? I would like to say possibly 50-50. So let's not take anything away from this NOLA defense. Really stepped it up from last week. Offense was a feature of their game, scoring 6 tries. And now they're showing that they are just as handy in defense. Eloff juggles, steps 1, steps 2, beats another. He beats 3 players. The feet of Eloff, exceptional. And now NOLA, and that's good hands, but the pass goes awry. Comes into the hands of the replacement, Johnson, and he's still going. Johnson, will he go all the way? Johnson, oh, he's brought down a meter from the line, and Tristan Blewett straight to his feet. He forces a turnover. That is a try saver, Tristan Blewett.
Absolutely. Never give up on a play. Never, ever, ever give up on a play in rugby, because, well, we just saw that looked like a certain try for the Raptors, running with most of the field in front of them. The defenders able to catch up, to bring them down with their fingertips right here. You see this run. It looks like he's off to the races. He's going to plant that thing right under the uprights. Instead, the defense gets there. Tristan Blewett had some company on that one. They're digging around. Glendale does not release the ball, does not give that ball up. And as a result, the try is undone. And NOLA Gold kicks it away into safety with the time running down on the clock here for the first half.
Well, you saw Tristan Blewett's offensive skills last week on that game-winning try. You saw him on defense. This guy's an 80-minute talented player, full motor, and he hits people hard, but he also has that speed to catch up when he needs to.
And that was the second poach by NOLA so far in this game, which is crucial to get those when you can.
It's important to recognize as well the impact that that try saver has going into the break. It could have been the difference between NOLA going in 18-12 and Glendale going in leading this match 19-18. It was right by the post, and you would have to think they would get the conversion.
Are you water?
But we're right here, right now, and the score is 18-12 to the home team, NOLA, as they bring it away out wide. We haven't seen much of Tikwesuva as he brings it well up to now almost the 40-meter line of Glendale. Looks like it was poached, but it's a penalty. This could be the last play of the match. If NOLA put this into touch, it will be, not of the match, of the half. Let me just make that correction. Don't go anywhere yet, folks.
No, Glendale does not want you to go anywhere. They are going to be very happy this is the end of the half, not the game. Again, that was a not releasing the player call against Glendale. They maybe didn't have enough support there. Maybe the ref just thought he lingered a moment too long, but costly, and we've seen a number of those happen so far in this game. It sets up NOLA Gold with potential penalty kick here. It's going to be pretty far. Good position. Let's see if they have the leg to do it. Nothing to lose, though, because after this attempt, both teams will be headed into the locker room.
Well, the only thing to lose, Ian, I guess, is if this ball doesn't go dead. He can miss the posts, but if it comes into the hands of a Glendale player, it's game on. And they could bring it all the way back, but you'd have to think that's a tough thing to do.
Exactly like American football. And people remember back Alabama-Auburn. This happened where Alabama had the game-winning kick. Auburn received it, took it all the way back on a short field goal. So this is the same premise in rugby.
Eloff steps up, strikes it well. He's got the distance. Has he got the line? And he does.
It's good.
And it is good. Not just good, it's great. And that sends the home team into the break with a 21-12 lead over the Glendale Raptors.
This kick you're going to just see that's the exclamation point on what's been a really solid half for NOLA Gold. This is not an easy kick to make, Mark. The distance is pretty significant there. He pulls it off, and as you said, that could go back into play. That could have been a Raptors ball for a chance to keep this thing moving.
Last week, the Gold had 0 kicks. They had all tries. This week, J.P. Eloff has 3 kicks already. He's got 11 points if you include the conversion. Hey, we're going to go to halftime. We're going to talk to the owner of the NOLA Gold, Tim Falcon, right here on Cox Sports Television. Welcome back to Gold Stadium. Once again, the NOLA Gold taking big first half lead, 21-12 this week. Last week it was 24-7. Hey, last week when the Seattle played Glendale in the rematch of the championship game, they only scored 20 the entire game. They gave up 20. They lost 20-18, but I can't say enough about this Gold team. I'm with the owner, Tim Falcon. And, Tim, I got to tell you, you're responsible for bringing professional rugby here, Major League Rugby to New Orleans. My first question, are you crazy? What made you do this?
It's passion. Starts with passion, but then it starts with a business sense. I know it's a great product, and I think our team today has proven that, and our fans are lovely, and everything that we're doing is going to sell. It's a great product, great sport, and people are going to catch on. I
mean, it's a passionate sport. If you've been around rugby, if you've been around the folks that play it, that follow it, they're very passionate. They love it. That's not unusual for any sports, but rugby, it's a different thing. It's more of a camaraderie thing.
It's my 41st year playing rugby. I've been around the world. I have friends from every continent, and it's just a brotherhood around the world. We all just come out here. Saturday's a rugby day, and it's great. So, yeah, the camaraderie, the brotherhood, the action, the big hits, we love it.
Hey, Tim, it's so nice to see the guys step up. You lost a couple star players, actually 4 of them, to go play international ball this weekend. But the guys filling in, the Will Waggaspacks, the Matthew Harmons that came in to play the big man positions, they're really stepping up.
Yeah, and that's what this league's for. We want to develop talent. We want to make sure the best kids in America get a chance to get into our academies, get to train with the pros, and become pros themselves.
Hey, you got to love the action of the backs, man. This year, you had 5 of them score last week. They're doing it again. J.P. Eloff, I can't say enough about the leading scorer for the Gold last season. He's doing it again. He's already got 11 points in this game. Talk about them and the imports, the Con Foleys, obviously Scotty Gale, and, of course, Tristan Blewett.
Well, let's not forget Taylor Howden. Taylor Howden stepped back up. He was started last year, and he's been coming off the bench, but he got to start today, and he blew some people away and scored a try. Tristan Blewett, love him. I love our Aussie boys. So, yeah, they're dynamic, and they're producing. It's great.
Hey, what's the next step for this league? It's year 2. We've already seen the excitement. We had 4 really close games. In fact, your 36-31 victory last week was the biggest margin of victory. But what's the future of this league in your mind?
It's going to be 26 cities across the United States, all the major cities. It's going to be in big venues. It's going to be attracting big audiences. And, our sponsors come around. They're realizing this is a great demographic, great people to be around. And so we're going all the way, man. This is it.
I've been around it for 2 months, and I'm already hooked. I cannot wait. Thank you, Tim. Appreciate you so much.
Thank you. Go Gold.
Hey, by the way, catch our next telecast Sunday the 10th when the Seattle Seawolves, the champions from last year, come to town to take on the NOLA Gold. Kickoff is set for 3 p.m. Central live on Cox Sports Television. For the full broadcast schedule, visit coxsportstv.com. Welcome back to NOLA Gold Rugby. We're here at Gold Stadium. What a first half. Once again, for the second straight game. Lots of action in the first half. It's 21-12, the Gold lead. The Raptors, I kept wanting to say Toronto Raptors last week. Now I get to say it, the Glendale Raptors. And by the way, an exciting first half. Mark, what was the reason we got this good lead?
Well, they're doing it again, aren't they, Nola? Yeah. Great attacking play, but their defence has been a feature as well. Glendale are a very strong team in attack, in offence, and they're holding them out well. And it's those turnovers, those crucial turnovers, that are keeping NOLA in the game. And the keys, you're one of the big men up front. I mean, when you used to play, and I got to tell you this, the guys that came in, they played a yeoman's effort than Will Wagaspax and the Matt Harmons.
Right. We have a lot of new faces on this roster, as we said, because of that America's Rugby Championship going on, drawing away some of the starters, right? Some of the star players. Right. So this is a test for the depth, really, of both teams. But, you know, NOLA Gold is showing that they can get it done. If I'm NOLA Gold right now, though, I have to capitalize on every opportunity I have, because this Glendale team is not going away, right? This whole game is one or two missed tackles away from being tied up, from being switched over the lead. I mean, there's a lot that can happen. And Glendale is known as an extremely fit team, right? They train up there in Colorado. Glendale's right in Denver, the Mile High City. You know, will fitness be an issue as this game grinds on? When will the replacements, or finishers, if you might want to call them, come off of the bench to replace some guys? We'll see. It's going to be an interesting game.
Hey, guys, look at the first half highlights. You see them running out, but take us through what just happened in the first half, Mark.
Okay, Taylor Howden, last year's captain. Look how strong that player is. He can do it all, Taylor Howden. He can run, pass, kick, and he can also run around them or run through them, as he did on that occasion. Then Glendale just hit back with Munro, the Aussie, streaming through. Wonderful line from him, and he's everywhere in support today.
So great, this try here, right off the line out into that maul. Just keep it with the big men, push it over the line. They can't stop him right there. And, of course, these penalty kicks have been huge. The difference maker for New Orleans, of course, with 9 points on the board out of that. But Glendale, not going away. Like we said, look out for them. They have some explosive playmakers, and they're eager to show what they can do and take the lead back.
JP Eloff hit that Morton Anderson-type kick right before the half. Hey, we got a big second half for you right here. It's NOLA Gold Rugby right here on Cox Sports Television. Welcome back to Major League Rugby. We're at Gold Stadium, where the Gold have a 21-12 lead. Let's get ready for the second half kickoff.
And it's JP Eloff for NOLA getting us underway in this second half. Round 2 of the second season of Major League Rugby. We have NOLA Gold, the home team, who are on top of the table for this season already after scoring 6 tries over Toronto last week. Glendale Raptors, last year's runner-up, of course, bringing the ball out from their 22, and already they make a break. It's Mika Cruze up to the 40-meter line. Same way. The man, Mountain Luke White, captain for today, bringing us almost up to the halfway. See NOLA getting the jump in defense, getting up. Putting pressure on. He leaves without it. That was Carlo Denician. So once again, these little unforced errors creeping in for Glendale.
That looked like a really nice, aggressive way to start the half right there, Mark, with those big, strong runs. But then you take your eye off the ball for just a second. Off it goes. He started running without it, like you said, and that's costly for them because it gives Gold the ball here already in their territory. It's interesting to consider how young this season is, Mark, right? We've only had one game on the boards. I think NOLA Gold surprised some people last week with that win over the Toronto Arrows. And the Raptors have started a game down as they lost to Seattle, their nemesis from last year's championship game.
And for the second straight week, the experts picked against the NOLA Gold. Only one member of the expert panel picked the goal last week, and it happened again this week. Please keep doing that all season long.
Well, we'll see here. You know that the Raptors are very eager to get themselves to 1-1. They have got this road game here in New Orleans. Can the Gold pull it off? Can they keep their winning ways going while they have this nice stretch of 4 home games to start off the season? The weather, of course, in Louisiana right now being ideal. It's just nice and crisp out there. It's bright and dry. Great day to play rugby. Great day for Gold to have some home field advantage and see if they can capitalize.
What a great way to take on the 4 Goliaths of the Major League Rugby. Toronto, who were touted by some to be the premiers, the champions of this season, even though they were new. And a beautiful play to Blewett. We've got the Raptors now and the Seawolves, who are defending champions, here again next week. And then, of course, New York. So a big ask for the home team. But they are at home as they now have the ball around 35 meters from the try line of Glendale. Can they draw first blood in this second half? Big run by Sullivan. And coming back infield. NOLA just being patient, keeping ball in hand, putting it through the phases. Good hands from Thompson onto Bidens. Same way again. Youngett quick to the ball. Gale to Howden. Dummies through off the right foot. Howden, they will not stop him yet again. Last year's captain showing how it's done.
Fantastic try, and exactly what NOLA Gold wanted to kick off the second half and say, you know what, the first half was not a fluke. We are here and we mean business. That was a magnificent try because you saw how Taylor Howden was able to sort of mystify the defender right there, get him to bite on his next guy as if he was going to pass it to him, and instead he just switched the directions right there. He made that cut and shot through, and again, using that speed, that explosive speed that he has for a fairly large player to get through there and to just seal the deal. Fantastic. NOLA Gold home stadium is really excited about that one.
Hey, Mark, how good do you feel about the former captain coming in, get 2 tries literally in the first 43 minutes of the game? Great play by him to start this match off.
Absolutely, Scott. And the key you just said there is the former captain. He's come from captain. That shows the strength and depth of this squad, that he was on the bench last week. And now he's come up, he's made way, had a solid performance last week. And again, it's going to be hard to keep him out of this starting lineup.
As NOLA Gold coach Nate Osborne told us right in the beginning of the broadcast there, the depth of the NOLA Gold team is going to be key in this game, as a number of their starters being called away to play for their national teams. Let's take another look at this try, though, because it is a thing of beauty.
And you just see here the little nuances that you might not see. See number 7 there, Striffler coming in as a decoy runner, opens up the space for Howden. Chad London in defense got a little bamboozled, and that allowed Howden to just run it in. Ball in 2 hands, kids. That's how it's done. That's how you're going to confuse the defense. Are you going to pass? Are you going to run? And it's charged down by Ryberg. It will be a line out to NOLA in their red zone.
Nice break here for the Raptors, though. Let's see if they can do something with this. They batted down that attempted kick. Of course, it's NOLA's ball, but look where they are. Look at the territory.
Winning the line out. Such a strong area of their game. Virtually impeccable last week against Toronto as Elof clears. Solid kick. Bounces. And the touch judge brings the flag all the way up. That's another great gain for JP Eloff and NOLA.
You know, momentum is key in this game, right? You score that try, you keep rolling, you keep the Raptors out of your end of the field. You see when your next opportunity comes. That's the game that NOLA wants to play. The Raptors, meanwhile, have to get something going here. They got 12 points on the board. They have to get another try to keep the conversation going for them, to keep the motivation up.
Keep in mind, this team was 7-1 last year, got to the championship game before falling. They're in danger of going 0-2. They only gave up 20 points in their loss to Seattle. They've already given up 28 in the first 46 minutes.
Let's see what they can do now. Glendale bringing it the same way. That's the try scorer from the first half, Will Munro. Penalty to Glendale. You heard the referee there saying his hands were past the ball. Interesting call by referee Luke Rogan.
I need to see you on it way early on. Yeah.
Again, a line out here, and NOLA Gold been really solid with the set pieces, as we pointed out in the first half. This is a Raptors ball. Nice, can make something happen for their backs here. Give them a nice fast ball.
You see the replacement, Zach Fenolio, USA Rugby stalwart, and a charging, bollocking Luke White. Brings us up now. Fenolio follows up. Experienced player himself. 17 caps for the USA Eagles. Behind the back play again, and that's well past inside to Brendan Daly from Nick Johnson. Brilliant offloading game at the moment for Glendale. Some space for Cruze. Takes on Howden. Might have just beaten him. Still going Cruze. No, he hasn't. Once again, Howden, he can do it all. Brings him down. But Glendale looking ominous now. Excellent hands from Fenolio to bring that one in. 2 meters from the line, the Glendale Raptors. And a penalty to boot. What will they do?
Oh, I think they have to go for the try here, Mark. That close in, they want to just zap it in. They want to put the ball in the hands of their big men.
I need to see you on the ball early.
That is what they do. How will they do it? They can kick for touch, take the line out. They can take the scrum on the spot right now. Of course, they have the option of 3 points, although it's a difficult angle. Already we see Robert Petzer lining up for the kick. So they're going to take the line out 5 meters from the try line. We saw NOLA Gold in this position in the first half, drive it over for a try. Can the Glendale Raptors replicate?
It's very tempting. You have to be very, very patient here when you're on offense. You can't force it, even though you're so close. Make sure you keep that ball.
Luke White wins the line out at the front, as predicted, forming the maul, still driving, looking tight, well executed, still going, the Raptors. Ball's at the back now, they're in control. Comes to a halt. Good defense by NOLA. Ball's going to come down. Denishan wants it, and it's actually turned over. So once it became a maul, they couldn't use it. Huge play for NOLA Gold.
What a defensive stand that was right there. And you saw the difference in the maul that we saw in the first half. NOLA had that ball quick. They battered that thing through before the Raptors could really come together in defense. Not so here. NOLA was able to reform in defense, put up a solid wall in front of the Raptors, keep them from moving it where they wanted to, keep them out of the try zone, and eventually something really nice happened for them. A turnover ball. It gives them a little bit of breathing room. Certainly not out of danger here, though.
The number 8, Kane Thompson, came up big. He played last week at number 4. He's replacing Cam Dolan at that position. How great has the New Zealander been today, all day long for the NOLA Gold?
He has, he's a great runner of the ball as well, and in defense, you just saw him there upsetting. Worth noting is it's a relatively new rule when that ball is being mauled. If the maul comes to ground, as a defender, if you have your hands on it, you used to have to roll away as you do in a ruck. Now you can lie all over the ball and prevent it from coming out, and it will be a turnover. You saw Kane Thompson do exactly that on that occasion.
Good knowledge, good awareness of where the ball is in that case. We have a scrum here, right on the doorstep for NOLA Gold.
You could also, it was great work from Thompson. You could also say that Glendale Raptors just got a little loose
Some substitutions here that NOLA Gold made. Malcolm May coming in for Willie.
For those of you who don't know, that's Mark May's nephew, the former great Washington Redskin, Pitt Panther. So he's got some lineage in athletics.
Oh, look at that. And then we have 18, Kevin Sullivan in for Ruben Biden.
NOLA on the 5-meter line. Plenty of work to do. Youngert, flat pass to the number 12, Con Foley. Australian import. Played 6 years of sevens for his national team, the Australian sevens, including an appearance at the Rio Olympics. And that is a hurried kick into touch. So once again, Glendale in prime position here.
That's a play that doesn't give you too much breathing room. At least NOLA can feel the boot coming off its neck there from right on their try line. There's so little room for error when you're playing that close to your own end zone.
Fenolio. Successful line out. Just adding some solidarity to the set piece. Zach Fenolio attempting the drive again. And NOLA up to the task. Ball comes down, out to the open. Betzer finds London, sends it out to the fullback, stepping, dancing. That's Dylan Taikato Simpson. Still going, same way. Simpson for the corner. Did he get there?
Touch just says no. Touch just says he stepped out just a little bit short.
That was close.
Extracurricular activity breaks out after the play. A bunch of whistles. Guys just congratulating each other on a well-fought game so far. They'll trade some notes on this afterwards.
And Holden Younger, number 9, always seems to be in the middle of these little skirmishes.
Yeah, these are little flare-ups that you see now and then. This is a very close game. You're playing man-to-man, face-to-face. These things happen. Fortunately, in rugby at all levels, it tends to diffuse very quickly. The referee swiftly restores order.
The coaches love Youngert. They say he's feisty, competitive, exactly what you run in a scrum have, and he's quick to take up for his teammates.
Let's see where all that came from here. This looked like it could have certainly been a try, but the touch just says no. Stepped right out, just maybe half a meter shy. You see him reaching for that ball, trying to make that come down, trying to make it happen. Fortunately, feet got in the way.
So what's the term for the corner? We call it pylon in American football. As a guy that's new to rugby, what do you call it, the corner where the pylon would be, where you tried to get the ball across?
Well, the corner.
The corner, there you go.
So there's a post that is put there with a flag, and oddly enough, it's called the corner post.
Well, you know, in rugby, we still do have some plain speaking terminology, which we like. You know, it's not all of it is in code. A touchdown is still a touchdown. A scrum is still a scrum. A maul is a maul for obvious reasons.
So that play comes all the way back. Referee did deem that maul collapsed. So Glendale now have another attempt, and you would have to think they're going to do the same thing. Line out, bring it down, drive it over the try line. As you saw Munro bring it down. NOLA have done well to halt the momentum piling in, but Glendale keeping it tight, still driving as they edge toward the middle of the field. NOLA driving through, ball comes out the back now. Let's see what the backs can do. Ryberg coming in, bumping off one. Strong runner, same way. 10 on 10, great defense, Scott Gale on Robert Petzer. Glendale with the ball, Fenolio charging forward. Same way, no one home, inside pass, easy as you like. Luke White, the captain, will score for Glendale, and this is what we keep saying. This is a quality outfit. You need to hold firm against the Glendale Raptors.
Drive after drive, phase after phase. It finally went Glendale's way there. Gosh, it was an eternity that they spent in NOLA Gold's backyard. And 3 penalties on NOLA this half. I think that might have been the difference maker. It kept the Raptors right there on their throat. They didn't let go. And eventually, when the opportunity presented itself, their big man was right there to charge through and get that try. Very, very difficult to stop when a gentleman like that has a head of steam going, a nice pass to him, and the will to make that thing a try for his team. So that tightens it up a little bit for Glendale. Gives them 5 and sets up a very manageable conversion attempt here from their kicker.
Well, Scott Alexander, you made the comment before, I wonder what would happen if Glendale didn't make all those mistakes. Where would we be? They've just showed now what they can do when they keep the ball in hand and they stop giving away these little errors. When they keep ball in hand, they make it extremely difficult for the defense to hold on.
As he sets up for the kick, both teams have 3 tries. The difference are the kicks that the JP Eloff has given them the difference in this game. So if they get a 4th, they get a bonus point, correct?
That is correct. The kick is successful. So they edge forward now within 9 points of the home team.
Yeah, let's take a look at that try, because consider yourself a defender on this. What are you supposed to do? How are you supposed to stop this guy right here? You can't get in front of him fast enough. You can't bring him down. You can't wing it for that tackle on the side. You make the attempt as NOLA, but in the end, he had the will to make that happen.
It was great vision by Carlo Donetian to see that there was a lapse in the ruck defense. He took the gap, and the inside pass with finesse to White did the damage. It's now Petzer strongly met and brought to the ground on the 22-meter line. The Raptors are confident. Here they come. Box kick straight up in the field of play. The replacement, Nick Feeks, goes without it. It's a tough ask for the man for his first touch of the game. Now defensive pressure forces the ball to ground, but we're going to take the early knock on.
Of course, the ref will let the game play on when he sees an infraction if the team that would benefit from that penalty is still charging with it, as you saw there. Another substitution here. Feeks on for Howden, out after doing so much in the first half and change. Actually, also, Tristan Blewett, one of the real playmakers for Gold, has gone to the outside center now.
Yeah, where he played last week, actually.
That's where he was last week. That's right, Scott.
And Nick Feeks, by the way, has a boom of a left leg. He plays with both hands, both legs. Definitely not much let up when he comes in the game.
Another important sub to note here for NOLA Gold, Cameron Falcon in for Ben Tarr, one of their props. Cameron Falcon, who grew up right here in New Orleans, played at this very school. It's hosting NOLA Gold today.
The Glendale Raptors, ball in hand, scrum feed, big shove from NOLA coming in. But it's London, a little back behind the decoy runner pass. Simpson brought down, he's dangerous. And NOLA knows it too. Another little dummy, full of confidence. Donetian now, after setting up that last try for White. Need to be careful of him. He knows he can spot a gap around the ruck. So that's an area that NOLA definitely need to tighten up. Keep that young man honest. As they race up now, Glendale get the ball out wide to the middle of the field. Looking very sprightly in defense right now, NOLA. Plenty of energy. Trying to force the error for Glendale as they did so well in the first half. Nick Feeks, that's a better play from him. Takes it, calls the mark.
And the mark is called on the kick. For those of you who rugby,
So Ian, it's a little opportunity to explain a mark in rugby, what Nick Feeks did just there.
Yes, of course, the Raptors kicked off to him. He had a few options to play with there, but because he caught it behind his 22, he's able to try to restart it on his own terms. Didn't work out that well for him. That wasn't his best kick.
Free kick.
But off of that free kick, we'll see if the Raptors can capitalize. Of course, one of the exciting things about rugby is every time there's a pause, every time we need to restart the game, there's just an opportunity for the momentum to change again.
Finolio gets it to the back, batted down. Glendale flat passing all the way up Dahl over the advantage line. Quick play for Glendale. This is what they do so well. Dummy from Petzer. He's brought down. Ball spits out once again, same way. That was Monroe. And now they line up to the open side. This is better play for Glendale and much quicker at the ruck. Ball is coming out with pace. Marco Fipaliai. Petzer fires it behind. Good step again from Taikato Simpson, who gets it away to Denishan. Strong tackle from his opposite number, Youngert coming in. Ragdolling him to ground. Ball comes back on Glendale's side. They have numbers out to the left. Can they use them? Keeping it tight now. Same way go the Raptors. Munro dummies, and he's over. Looks like it'll be a try. Well, the referee says, let's have a look at that one. He feels like it may have been either stripped or held up. Despite the confidence of Munro, he feels he scored the try.
Looks like the ref's going to have a little chat with the line judge.
Hey, Mark, explain how they look at these plays right here.
Now, they've awarded the try now to the Raptors.
No, I just wanted to confirm with you, mate. Sorry to put you on the spot.
And you just wanted to confirm. You can hear the referee there.
Yep.
Yeah, so Scott, you know, if the referee is not sure about the grounding of the ball, it's all about whether that ball was placed on the ground. It's different to a touchdown. It can't just cross the plane of the line. It needs to be forced on the ground with your hand or a portion of your arm. Sometimes a defender can get in and get between that ball and the grass. So the referee just wanted to make sure that it was grounded. He was happy with it. And that's why now Glendale have been awarded the try.
Of course, on defense, you can hold it up, right? If you,
we're going to have a water break after this, though.
If your opposite number gets the better of you, gets into the try zone like that, if you can actually hold it up and prevent him from keeping that ball from touching down, then you have defused the try. Didn't happen there for NOLA. And as we said at the half, don't sleep on Glendale in the second half of any game. They are a fit team. They're fast. They're confident. They're not going to be intimidated by being down a bit. Now we're really going to watch to see if NOLA Gold can hold on. Can they extend their lead? Because they're going to need to. They can't hold this game with 4 points on the board.
Important to note that Glendale have now scored 4 tries, giving them a bonus point. So should they win this game, they would get 5.
And Monroe's had 2 of those. I mean, he got one earlier. William Monroe.
It's a big kick for Glendale, and it looks like it's been hooked slightly to the left, so no extras added.
We're coming back for the last 20 minutes of NOLA Gold Rugby as they lead 28-24. Stay tuned on Cox Sports Television. Hey, welcome back to Gold Stadium. Here are the standings, and I think it's important. We talked about that bonus point. It doesn't go on the score for you new to rugby. It actually goes in the standings.
That's right, Scott. You saw NOLA Gold. They scored 4 tries last week and won the game. You get 4 points for winning a game, and because they scored 4 tries or more, you can see they have 5 points and stand alone at the top of the table. Glendale now have scored 4 tries today. Should they win, they will get 5. Should they lose, they will still get a point, and if also they stay within 7 points of NOLA Gold, they will get another bonus point. Confusing, I know.
Well explained, mate.
That was for you, Scott.
Appreciate it.
So Glendale now bringing it outside their 22. They're on fire at the moment. Breathing down the neck of NOLA Gold. Not dissimilar to last week's game against Toronto. The Gold held on. They kept the lead the entire game, but they did fall asleep in the second half, just like they have done so in this second half.
And this is the closest it's been in the second half in either game for the Gold. Last week, the Arrows got within 5. Now this this team over here, the Raptors, are within 4.
Very new season. Both teams trying to demonstrate to the world who they are, what they're going to be. NOLA Gold surely would like to get this thing underway with a 2-0 start. The Raptors desperate to make themselves 1-1.
And Matthew Harmon desperate to get the game underway as well. Got the line set.
New Orleans is 8 for 8 on lineouts so far. They've been perfect. Really good in these set pieces, of course, so crucial for how you restart the game and the kind of ball that you get to your playmakers. The ideal situation here, I think, would be for NOLA to bring this ball down, given their location on the field. Maybe go for another ball. What do you think, Mark?
All I could see was Zach Striffler being helped from the field. It's a blow for him, but
That's
yeah.
unfortunate.
They've brought it down. That's what they've elected to do. There's your answer, Ian. A little bit far out, perhaps, to drive, or maybe they just want to mix up the play. That's also worth noting. If that's been a feature of their play, bringing it down and mauling, maybe they feel like that's what the opposition will set up to defend, so throw something else at them.
By the way, Caleb Meyer comes in for Zach Striffler. He just got put on the roster about 16 hours ago because they had an injury in practice yesterday to another newcomer, obviously Giovanni Latti. Unfortunately got hurt, torn bicep in his first practice, and now Caleb Meyer gets his chance. He's a recent Utah grad.
Big scrum coming up here. You can hear in the stadium the fans are chanting NOLA. That's their customary chant when the scrum is in contention.
So Glendale with the feed. Big job to do. Coming out of their 22-meter area. Good defense from the number 10, Scott Gale. Coming back the other way. Denician dummying, still going. Finally brought down, still within their 22. The white wall persists, keeping Glendale from advancing. Looking to force a kick. And here it comes. Goes back. Kick looks like it is out. And well out also. Feeks doesn't attempt to bring that one in for a quick line out. So it's NOLA's throw into the line out. Around 35 meters from the Glendale try line.
And we got to take a look at the clock at this point in the game. You know, we're in our final 20-minute segment here. And this is when fitness really comes in. As we said earlier, Glendale, known for their fitness. We've had a lot of substitutions come in for either side, which can always change the dynamic of your play. New personnel in there.
Harmon overcooks it. Fenolio sees it, just can't quite bring it in.
You know he wants that one back, because a millimeter or two in his favor, he would have had that right in his arms with a good head of steam going.
A lot of green turf ahead as well.
Well, and you know Matt Harmon is thanking Fenolio for that one. Sometimes you're not sure if it was the throw or maybe a mix-up with the jumpers at the back. Could have been miscommunication. Can't always just pin it on the line-out thrower.
Let's not take it for granted. Eric Howard is usually the guy throwing it in. He's one of the best in the country. Well, definitely one of the best in Major League Rugby. And he's, of course, playing for his Canadian team this weekend.
He is indeed. And best of luck to Howard. As NOLA now in attack, straight through the number 10, Scott Gale. He's looking for support. He might not need it. He won't need it. He'll go all the way. The defense open like the Red Sea.
And that has fired up this New Orleans home crowd. Boy, did they need that. The Raptors charging, charging, charging. It's been their half so far. But New Orleans, they get that break. He sees that room in front of him. He knows he has support. He can go either side with it. Let's take a look at where this started. From the scrum, all the big men all congested right there. Plenty of room on the pitch. He doesn't hesitate for a second. He's got nobody in front of him. You know he has threats coming in on either side, but he's got support. He has options, and he went with the best one. In that case, just keep it in hand and see that through to a sure try.
That was a huge play. Momentum was all on the side of Glendale at that point, and Scotty Gale for his second try of the season. That was giant.
We've seen some wonky throws. We've had some penalties. But when it comes right down to it, ball in hand, coming on that thing at pace, good support to give you options and keeping it. Oh, man, getting that try. That's got to feel good.
You have to put it down again to Scott Gale. The way that he approaches the line, he takes it forward. He's a double, triple threat. He can pass, he can run. And you saw on that occasion, it opened right up. Always a difficult part of the field to defend as a defending team. A scrum in the middle of the field, and when the team goes right, it's hard to defend. As Elof looking for the extras, doesn't get them.
Does pad the NOLA Gold lead just a little bit here, though, to 11.
So you see, as I mentioned before, scrum in the middle of the field. They elected to go right. It's always tricky to defend, and that's why they shot straight past Gale to defend the extra numbers, so it's up to the back row. Communication and the number 9 in the scrum to make that tackle on Gale, and they were nowhere to be seen, as you now have NOLA bringing it out from their 22.
And by the way, NOLA got that bonus point we talked about in the standings, just like Glendale did earlier, so that was their 4th try.
Check that score update earlier. NOLA has a 9-point lead.
We were hoping it was
11. Taken in.
Gale sends it.
The game got ahead of my math, as sometimes happens.
Down to Johnson, chips ahead, straight into the waiting arms of Feeks, and this is what he does so well. The 7 specialist fires it inside, plenty of numbers to burn. Foley finds Blewett. It's all the way to the try line for Blewett. He knows that area extremely well. And what about the interchange of play? Started from the Australian Nick Feeks.
They threw it to Blewett, and he took it to the house. What a great turn of events for NOLA Gold. 2 tries, probably under 2 minutes here. Before the crowd was even done cheering for that earlier try, NOLA Gold gives him another one to tack up there. And again, the feet of Feeks. Check this out. The presence of mind to stay in bounds there, tiptoeing against the edge, and then getting it out right when he needs to his mates running in support. And again, no selfishness there. Any one of those runners might have wanted that one to keep, but no, they moved it on and got success.
You're right there, Ian. Put out that support. But again, it's important to note just the little plays. Con Foley there, as he took it back to the left, he turned around the fullback, Dylan Taikato Simpson, and that was enough then to come back out and find Blewett and give him an easier run to the line. So it's important not to underestimate those little setup plays, and Con Foley played a major part in the try for Blewett, and the conversion is good from JP Elof. A much kinder angle for him there, Ian.
Absolutely. Such a team sport, right? For all of the individual accolades that these guys have, you can't do it by yourself. Check this out. This is coming off of the scrum. Again, all your big men all clustered up there. It gives plenty of room for the fast runners to do their thing, to move around. Finally, they have some room and can move. They say, give me the ball. They take it, and they make full use of it.
When you're ready, mate, yeah.
Nick Feeks is easily the best utility guy player on this team. He comes in, shows you why.
Another substitution here. Looks like Alec Molita in for Peter Metzer.
Foley cleans up the loose ball from the kick. Dylan Taikato Simpson, DTS with the feet. A phrase coined by Dan Power in last week's match. We're going to keep it going, and he keeps it going up over the halfway line. DTS, thank you, Dan Power. We will keep that name alive, and it's a quick tap. The scrum half, Denishan, up to the 22. Glendale, here they come. Plenty of numbers now, open to the right-hand side. Comes out, Tamika Cruze, sending it to London. Haven't seen much of him. Tikoi Suva with a crunching tackle. Can't quite get the turnover. So Glendale are forced to come back and realign in attack. The replacement, Jason Dam, gets a touch of the ball. Ball spits out. Stepping from Malifa, another experienced player. Malifa played for the US Eagles in both 7s and 15s. Look for him to finish this game and add his experience, just like that pass there. Flat ball. It's batted down by NOLA. Have they recovered? Looks like it's on the blue side. It still is. Bobbles around the back, close to the sideline. Does extremely well to get it in without going into touch. And now Glendale back with the ball in hand. Doing whatever they can. They've got a small mountain to climb with just under 10 minutes. And that's beautiful play by London. Maintains possession. Numbers coming around the corner. Malifa. Oh, he can't quite handle it. Luke White, much to the home crowd's delight. It'll come back for that knock on.
That one hurts. That one hurts for the Raptors. Because they're number 5 there. We've seen the damage he can do when he gets that clean ball. Unfortunately, he couldn't bring it in.
Look at the footwork of DTS.
You see how far back some of these plays start. Nice stop there over for NOLA Gold. And again, he gets that ball. He gets that ball right as right from the tackle. You have to think that might have affected the accuracy a bit to have your guy running down on you. That was the 9th knock for the Raptors, who have been plagued by them.
Wow, he's a class player, Luke White. Although he was under pressure, he'll be upset with himself for that. He normally brings those in. You can see him now just ruining that mistake.
Number 19,
Took a wonderful line coming in. Again, makes it harder to take those flat passes under pressure. Defense came in. Stikwe Suva on the spot. He's really lifted in defense, and we see that scrum turning around. It's a penalty to Glendale. This is looking dangerous now for NOLA. Under 8 minutes to play.
and once again, the little man
Big, strong, and clutch scrum there for Glendale. Was kicking it to touch to get it
and what goes on with those
very, very close to the New Orleans try line. As we've seen before in this game, very dangerous situation for Gold to be in. Raptors have all the options. They have the ball. They have only 5 meters to go for that try.
Zach Finolio overcooks that one again, but in comes Malifa. He takes it. Glendale with the ball. 2 meters from the line. White jersey scrambling. They need numbers out to this short side, but it goes the opposite way through Daly. Is he over? Yes, he is. Glendale hit back.
And Glendale converts what looked like it could have been a disaster with that ball coming out of their lineout. Looks like NOLA could have scooped it up, but does not because of that fast reaction by the Raptors to reclaim possession on the fly, keep their momentum going, move that ball out there, and pick up a sorely needed try to keep this game competitive as the minutes tick down.
Brendan Daly charging over. He still had plenty of work to do, but it was the pace of that play, the pace of just reproducing the ball, recycling the ball. It all came from that line out. But Malifa, we have to bring it back again. He was responsible for bringing that ball in under pressure and keeping possession for Glendale, and then it was just a mere formality.
And that's Gale getting some attention there. Between plays here. Looks like he's walking pretty good though. That's their number 10, fly half. Looks like he's coming off of the field though.
again, puts it through.
Conversion is good for Glendale, narrowing things to a 9-point lead for the Gold with
6.5 minutes.
looks like about 6.5 minutes left on the clock in regulation.
The clock is certainly going to be a friend to the Gold right now as they wind on down. Like you said, 6+ minutes to go.
9 points, it's a 2-possession game no matter how you cut it.
Just keep an eye out for the energy of these two teams. Glendale want to get on with it. Glendale have some points to score. You can see how quickly they got back to set up, and you can see how slowly and casually NOLA are getting back. They just want to run this clock down. That is a dangerous way to play as well. Let's hope they're not just defending their lead, and they can still continue to take it to this Glendale team. As Glendale send it down to Elof. Puts it long, electing to just play it down in Glendale's territory. DTS finding Johnson. And now reinforcements coming in. That looks like it's a knock on to Glendale. Is it play on? Ref calls it back. That's going to be a scrum in favour of NOLA.
The ball knocked on, eventually recovered.
That ball was moving all over the place, Mark. The ref, I think, had a few knocks to choose from on that. A key substitution here. Number 21, Cameron Troxler's come on for Gale, who we just saw go out after getting a little bit of attention on the pitch. Troxler, a New Orleans native, one of many that's come up through the program, through New Orleans from the schools.
Who played right here at Shaw and LSU as well.
Played right here on this turf. New Orleans has a number of international players, but also quite a few that have come up from the school system here, from the club team. A lot of interchange since the creation of Major League Rugby between the pro team and the club team here. The club team picked up a nice win today. Not far away, just down the road here in the West Bank of New Orleans.
So massive opportunity for NOLA now. If they can put more points on the board, especially a try, you'd have to say that they'll take this game. Under 5 minutes to play. Youngett with the feed. Looked like a solid scrum.
It's just immediately come up.
Ref wants it again.
It's immediately come up. It's immediately come up.
As you can hear the referee, the front row is immediately coming up out of the scrum there. He wants to reset it.
You may stay down and in the contest.
You know, for the roughness of this game, Mark, the referees are going to do everything they can to make sure that the impacts of the scrum are correct. Wants to see good form, wants to see safe play.
And again, NOLA are happy with this. The clock is still ticking. Keep resetting scrums, ref. We don't mind.
That's right. They'll do this all day long. It'll be a scrum exercise for their forwards if they had their way.
And a big feature of rugby over football is there are no timeouts.
No timeouts. Also, the ref may have a minute or two in his pocket from injury time. We'll have to see how this ends up, but it could be crucial with the clock winding down here, under 4 minutes, and New Orleans holding on to a 9-point lead over the Raptors. At this point, Glendale's just thinking, get me that ball any which way you can, forwards. Hooker, steal me that ball in that scrum. Look at the backs. They're waiting for it. They're praying that their big men up front can get them that ball so they can do their thing.
Youngett signals, gets it out. Front row's coming up again. Ref's going to call a penalty to Glendale, and it's a quick tap. Fully expected. They're running out of time. Blewett comes up, forces the error. It's gone backwards, says the referee. Malifa, dummies, up over the halfway line. So Glendale, there's time. Munro, the try scorer, nearly to the 40-meter line. Glendale Raptors, last year's runner-up in the Major League Rugby, have under 3 minutes to snatch this victory and need to score twice.
Not a good situation for Gold here. De facto playing a man down because Tristan Blewett, one of their big playmakers, is getting attention there at midfield.
Stay there.
So Glendale, bring it open. Malifa, instrumental. Fenolio does well, batting it back. And that's Daly. White jersey all over him like a rash. Maintaining possession. Malifa still going. Looking for support. Gets it on the outside to Johnson. Can he stay in? No, he can't, says the touch judge. But it's a penalty. It's going to come back. Referee was playing advantage. Let's see what this is for.
Offside, 6 white.
Referee's calling Gold for being offsides. He was letting that play on to see what Glendale could do with it. When they stepped out of bounds, called it back to where the spot of the fall. They'll kick for territory, inch them a good bit closer to their goal, to the NOLA Gold try line. Looking for a line out here, which Gold has been pretty strong at.
So some ill discipline creeping in for NOLA now with their 5th penalty in this half alone. And that is due in part. Malifa going through. He's been so dangerous in this second half. As Glendale now, the ball's gone forward. How did that happen? Doesn't matter. Feeks puts it up. It's still in the field of play. Up in the air, and that's well taken by Michael Basker just to calm things down, and it's a penalty to NOLA.
NOLA's saying tick, 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 though, please, clock
the
run.
last minute of the game right here.
Yeah, that's right. They're in the last minute.
He turned it over first.
That was a flurry of turnovers that ends up with NOLA having the ball and an opportunity to kick it out of their territory, out of their danger zone, much to the chagrin of the Raptors, who say, just give me that ball, give me a chance. Just give me a chance. That's all you can hope for in a rugby game like this. One more chance with that ball in your hand.
Eloff sends it out. Not a huge gain. Didn't have a great angle.
But if I'm not mistaken, there are no 9-point plays in rugby. Or am I mistaken there?
You are not mistaken.
This could end up being a game that ends in the whistle.
So Harmon poised with the throw. Up in the air. It's pinched by Glendale. Short arm penalty to NOLA. Finolio disagrees.
The referee calls a knock on the line out.
Clock reading 40. Next whistle could potentially end it, depending on how much time the ref has kept in his pocket.
Eloff taps.
Looks like no.
Puts it into the grandstand. Right under where we're sitting, and that is the end of the match. NOLA Gold have made it 2 in a row. 2 from 2 in the 2019 Major League Rugby season.
NOLA Gold has to be ecstatic by the result of this game and the one before it. Underdogs in both, for sure, against the Raptors, who entered this season with many expectations that they would at least return to the playoffs and possibly win it all after finishing second last season. Now they start 0-2. Tough hole to dig out of, while NOLA Gold 2-0, probably to the surprise of many.
Yeah, the Gold last week had the most points in the league at 36 so far. 40 is the highest of this season for any team. We'll see if that hangs on the rest of the day. Hey, but we're going to take a break right now. We're coming back to wrap it up right here. You're watching NOLA Gold Rugby on Cox Sports Television. NOLA Gold Rugby on Cox Sports Television is being presented by Michelob Ultra Pure Gold, the official beer of the NOLA Gold, and by Boomtown, the official hotel and casino of the NOLA Gold. Well, here are the standings, MLR. Look at that. The Gold stands on top as of today with a couple games still to go. Hey, Mark, there's no way you can start better this season than 2-0 with already 10 total points.
So impressed with NOLA Gold. It's not just the fact that they're on top of the table with maximum points, but it's the opposition they've done it against. Two quality teams, especially today against last year's runner-up, the Glendale Raptors.
I think that everyone around the league has to take note of this. NOLA Gold, they're playing at home, but they're playing extremely good teams. And to finish 2-0, even today, with so many of their starters off playing for their national teams, that says a lot about the gutsiness, the depth of this team, their fitness. It's a full package right there. The hometown was thrilled to see this result. And they've got 2 more home games to go. This could be a really, really, really strong start for this NOLA Gold in Season 2.
Yeah, speaking of guttiness, you saw Tristan Blewett kind of walk out of your camera there. The guy plays big on both sides of the field. And there's number 4. All eyes were on Will Wagaspack, the Jesuit grad. He also went to UL Lafayette, played his ball right down I-10. And he came up big when they needed him most with all the frontline players playing international ball this weekend.
Well, that's right. Some early nerves from Will, but then he just got into his groove, didn't he? Got comfortable with the game, started throwing his big weight around. He's a quality player and one to watch for the future.
And what games these have been. I mean, no blowouts. This was a solid win by NOLA Gold, but man, the Raptors never let up. They were threatening at the very, very end, and it's been thrilling. This is what pro rugby is like in America right now. It's a wonderful thing to watch.
I can't wait for next week. We'll be here next week when they play Seattle on Sunday at 3 o'clock. Hey, but thanks for joining us for NOLA Gold Rugby. For Mark Stabina and Ian McNulty. Hey, I'm Scott Alexander. The final score, 40-31. The 2-0 NOLA Gold. We'll see you again next week on Cox Sports Television.